The third day of their separation wasn't much different from the previous ones, as Benita had intended. At the end of the day, she still ended up spending time in Kurafat's room as usual. She didn't know if it was Kurafat who was cunning enough to keep her around, or if it was just her own soft heart. Whenever he thought about returning to his own home, he began to worry about 1,000 things. Would Kurafat be hungry in the early hours of the morning? Would you accidentally end up hurting yourself again? Or, worst-case scenario, would he do something risky again? Benita said out loud that she wanted this time apart so that they could both better see the relationship between them. But in the end, she was the one who couldn't take her eyes off Kurafat. As Kurafat counted down the days, Benita didn't even feel like she had begun her own test. If she continued to worry about Kurafat like this, it definitely wasn't a good sign. "Read the documents to me." As soon as he saw Benita getting ready to return to her apartment, Kurafat always found a way to stop her, asking her to do something before she went. "I have to go now. There are documents to sign before tomorrow's meeting. I haven't finished reading them yet." Kurafat explained why she needed to go. Although she was still recovering from her injuries, her responsibilities could not be ignored. She could not simply lie in bed and wait for her to get better. Many people would be affected by the delay in work, and many others would seize any slip-up to attack her. As vice president, she was already frowned upon by some within the company. Many felt that women were not good managers, that they were weak and indecisive. If they had a choice, they would have preferred to support Kita, her brother, as president. Fortunately, however, Kita valued family ties more than the interests of the shareholders who tried to manipulate him. "If I'm late, those snakes at the company will take advantage of this to attack me." Benita meant that in the entire world, no one was scarier than Kurafat. The seriousness she displayed at that moment was clearly forced, as if the powerful queen would actually be afraid of half a dozen gossips in the company. Quite the opposite, they were the ones who should fear her. "Do you want to keep walking around? You yourself said I shouldn't move around unnecessarily. After all, you don't even take what you tell me to do seriously, do you?" Kurafat's excuses were endless. Sometimes Benita thought that if she weren't vice president, she could have a successful career as an actress. During the time Benita was away, Kurafat had no trouble going to work, even though she was injured. But now, with Benita around, she suddenly needed help with everything. "You were the one who told me that," Kurafat insisted. Benita pursed her lips. Yes, she had really said that. It was her concern that made her tell Kurafat to move as little as possible until she was fully recovered. She didn't want her to get hurt any further. In the end, Benita no longer knew who was benefiting from this situation, her or Kurafat. But what Benita didn't realize was that Kurafat liked being forbidden from doing things. This meant he still had an excuse to keep Benita around. There were still only 4 days left. After that, he wouldn't need to hold back anymore. Even if Benita continued to keep her distance, at least she was there, in the same space as her. Benita only came near when necessary, to clean her wounds, to force her to take medicine, which she could have taken on her own. But simply didn't, to help her change her clothes, so she wouldn't have to strain herself. Kurafat couldn't remember how many years it had been since she had felt that being a patient had its advantages. "Okay, I read, but I just read." Just read it." But of course, after Benita finished reading the documents, Kurafat made one more request. It was the 1,000th time that day. "Stay here with me tonight." Benita didn't answer right away. She just looked at her with a suspicious look. In the last 24 hours, she had barely had 8 hours to herself, including sleeping in her own apartment, studying and finishing her college work. And Kurafat knew it. They still had a test, or perhaps a punishment, to complete. So why did she keep making requests like this? "May I?" Kurafat repeated. "I need to study, you know that." "Then study, I won't bother you. The 7 days we agreed on haven't passed yet. What do I need to say to make you stop arguing with me? Try to tell the truth. I miss you." It was only 3 days of sleeping alone, but it was enough for Kurafat to realize how much she hated it. She'd never had trouble sleeping alone before, But now she didn't want him anymore. Now that I've told the truth, is that okay? Kurafat sat on the couch, watching Benita study at the table in the corner of the room, a table she herself had ordered brought in for Benita to use. He frowned when he noticed that Benita was still wearing her college uniform. It was pretty, it suited her, but it wasn't comfortable for studying for so long. Without thinking much, Kurafat stood up. But before she could take a single step, Benita immediately turned to face her, as if she had a security camera on her the entire time. "Where are you going?" "You don't need to get up. I'll go alone." "I already told you I don't want you to move around too much. If the wound opens again, what will you do?" "I'm not moving around that much." "I asked, where are you going?" Benita repeated the same question once more. She was there. If the other really wanted something, she could ask without any problems. It wouldn't be difficult for her at all. "You don't have to be so serious. I'm not afraid of you." "There's nothing to be afraid of." He replied calmly. "I'm just asking. Can you answer the question directly?" Their gazes met, and in the end, Kurafat sighed, giving in. If she persisted, she might end up sleeping alone once again, like the previous nights. "I'll get you some clothes to change into." "What?" "I don't know how long you'll be studying, but you spent the whole day in those college clothes. I imagine they're not very comfortable." "I'm just going to prepare something for you to sleep in. I'm not planning anything else." Hearing this, Benita smiled. Furthermore, she couldn't help but smile when she saw the other's expression, half sullen, half serious. Had anyone ever told her that making that face made her adorable? Maybe it was better if no one had. Benita wanted to discover that side of her for herself. "You don't like my clothes." "It doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't affect how I feel about you." "But some people have a fetish for student uniforms. I'm just curious to know if you're one of them." Kurafat arched his eyebrow. "I have a fetish for you without any clothes on." "If I said that, would you take off your clothes for me?" "But you're hurt. Are you sure you want to see?" "If it's just to look, I think it's better to leave it for later." "Okay." What a provocation. Benita always said or did something that made her want to squeeze her, bite her, mark her. And now, when she saw her standing right in front of her, talking nonstop, she could only think of one way to silence her, with her mouth. "What's wrong? My face is up here." Benita commented, noticing that the other was staring at her mouth the whole time. She didn't even know if Kurafat had paid attention to what she was saying before. "You talk too much." "Don't give me that. You're the one who wants to kiss me and keeps saying that I talk too much." "Did you know that, if you told me the truth, I wouldn't be able to resist?" Kurafat gritted her teeth. Since when did Benita start having such an advantage over her? Lately, it seemed like the girl could always predict her moves. And now those defiant eyes were waiting for an answer. She hated this. She hated being at a disadvantage. Kurafat had always been in control, always the leader. But with Benita, it was different. "Time waits for no one. If you take too long to answer, I may change my mind." "Don't do that." "What is that?" "You want me to surrender." Benita raised her eyebrow. "You knew, right?" "I don't like." "You never gave in to anyone. So if you did that to me, I would know that you would always have me by your side in the future." "You said you wanted to prove yourself, but so far all I see is you giving me orders." "Giving in to you is not something I need to prove." "What?" "Mark this down, babe. If I ever give in, it will be because I love you, not because I need to prove something." Benita couldn't explain why her heart beat so fast at that moment. Maybe it was the tone of his voice, the look in his eyes, or simply the fact that Kurafat was really serious. "Understood." She simply nodded, and instead of answering, she leaned closer, standing on her tiptoes to give him a light kiss on the lips before pulling back. It was a short, soft kiss, but it hit Kurafat hard. Sometimes, Benita's gentleness was overwhelming for someone like her, who had always been so emotionally tough. "You didn't exactly answer the question, but I liked what you said." "I'm going back to studying. Go do what you have to do." Wait. Kurafat grabbed her shoulder before she walked away. Why did you kiss me? Can't I kiss? I just want to know why. Maybe it's a reward for the right answer. This time, Benita stood on her tiptoes and lightly bit the other's neck before running back to her corner. But before she left completely, she raised her finger in a warning tone. Don't run after me. If you open the wound, I'll get mad. You always find a reason to be mad at me. Benita laughed. And you always find a reason to be sulky at me. What do you mean, I don't sulk? But when I don't let you hug me or I don't get close enough, you make this face. And what's wrong with hugging you a little? Kurafat complained, crossing his arms. Since she was injured, Benita really wasn't afraid of her. You and the word little don't know each other, do you? When I let you, you never let go. You always mark me, even when you say you won't. What an exaggeration. Sometimes Benita didn't even know if Kurafat was the same person as before. Lately, it's looked different, and she was still sensitive and jealous. When he saw her frown, he felt sorry for her. She always ended up being the first one to give in, to try to make the other person feel better. If you keep sulking, you'll sleep alone tonight. You always say I'm sulking. My face is just like that. Benita laughed. Her face wasn't like this all the time. If she paid closer attention, she would see that her expressions had changed a lot lately. Okay, no sulking. I'm going to study. Go do what you have to do. Why are you still looking at me? I'm waiting for you to go back to studying, so I can go. Why? My business. Benita narrowed her eyes. Would they ever be able to go half a day without arguing? They hadn't even exchanged 10 sentences, and they were already arguing again. It's off topic. You're the one who complicates things. Do you want to sleep alone? He always threatens me when he can't beat me. And you can't give in to me even once. This time, it was Kurafat who frowned. If he were to interpret the word always she used correctly, it would mean every time, right? When I get tired of you, I'll think about it again. Don't take too long, because the more you get tired of me, the more freedom I have. You can't help but tease me, can you? I think I need to find something to shut my mouth. Like Daddy's mouth. I told you not to challenge me. Don't say things like that. Ah, so the one who's about to lose control isn't me, right? Kurafat began to count to 10 in her head. If she didn't do this, she would definitely grab this annoying girl and crush her right there. But now, just gritting her teeth wasn't enough. She had to clench her fists tightly. I was just kidding. Joke. Don't be upset. You're the only one I like to play with. And most importantly, the only one I want to play with, Daddy. You're asking to be punished. Benita chuckled softly and finally gave in after teasing Kurafat enough. She turned around and went back to her reading corner, but she couldn't help but peek at the other girl's back as she disappeared into the room. A smile appeared on her lips. It was strange, but true. Now she could be herself without forcing. Anything. And when she could turn the tables and provoke Kurafat every now and then, she began to gain more confidence. Her fear. She already understood where it came from, and it seemed like her queen was helping to dispel it without having to prove anything. Just being with her, receiving her attention and affection was enough. The rest, time would tell. After reading through what she had planned, Benita lay down next to Kurafat. They both wore similar pajamas. Between them, a separator pillow had been placed, but it didn't last even a minute before it was thrown away by her queen. How ugly to destroy things. It was in the way. Kurafat looked at the pillow on the floor as if it were a mortal enemy. Winning a fight against a pillow and still being proud of it, it was just a pillow. Since when did I look proud? Benita wanted to laugh, but being so close, if she did that, she would be at a disadvantage. So she preferred to change the subject. I don't want to bother you. Oh, really? But I want you to bother me. What do we do now? Benita smiled, turned to face her, and then said something she had been tasked to convey. In fact, I wasn't even sure if it was a gesture of affection or if I was being used as a pawn in the adult's game. But since that woman was important to Kurafat, she couldn't ignore her. Benita always respected and loved her mother, until, at a certain point, she had to step away. That's why respecting Lady Kirin was easy. Just knowing that she raised Kurafat with such love was reason enough for Benita to bow in reverence. The lady asked me to let you know that she needs to attend the party event. Mr. Wasson has invited us. The whole family must go. Kurafat frowned. This made her doubt even more. Did your mother really like Benita? Or did you just want to keep her around as a bargaining chip? If it were the second option, she would get her out of there immediately. He didn't want Benita to believe in an affection that wasn't real. If his mother wanted to play, Kurafat decided he would play too. You're coming with me. What? You're coming with me. Benita blinked, as if she had heard wrong. Lady said it's a family event. I understood. But I'm not. You're mine. How could you not be part of the family? And what would I go as, exactly? If she did, it would be a scandal. A former nightclub girl, alongside Kurafat, the stepdaughter of a powerful politician, at an event full of influential figures. This would only reinforce the rumors that Kurafat was supporting her financially. Benita didn't like that kind of comment. But what could she do? I swallowed silently. Does it matter? I think so. I don't see any role that would allow me to be by your side at that event. Even if I have to be next to someone else, wouldn't that affect you? What if my mother introduces me to someone, thinking about the family's future? Benita forced a smile. That was the price of being someone from a different world than her, wasn't it? What could I do? In Lady's eyes, I'm not someone who should be by her side. Kurafat pressed his thumb against Benita's lips, silencing her. Queen's favorite. Unable to speak, Benita used her gaze to question the meaning of those words. But she liked what she heard. In this role, you can go anywhere with me. You can stand by my side, walk with me. I've already told you, you're mine, you don't have to fear anyone. Benita opened her mouth slightly and unhurriedly bit the tip of Kurafat's finger, as a small retaliation for silencing her. How many favorites do you have, huh? Just one. Do you accept the title? If you don't accept, tough luck, because she's already yours, Benita.